Say for example, अभी मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ हाँ, और राइट साइड से कोई गुजर गया तो I immediately get distracted. कौन है उधर?
Yeah.
Right? So that doesn't happen with you, right? So 9, wine. For example, अमृत वाइन पीता है, इतना पीता है कि वो टल्ली हो जाता है.
Reading as a process is something that I don't feel requires eyes. It is a process of the mind.
But there are some dispassionate teachers out there in the world who just come to school check mark करने के लिए salary लेने. They don't really care.
Reading is something that is not a task, I feel.
Tell me and I'll forget. Teach me and I'll remember. Involve me and I will learn. Wow.
If I'm not reading, I'm not changing. If I'm not changing, I'm not growing. And I personally see that change. I personally see that growth in me.
Hi guys, I'm Amrut Deshmukh, your Booklet guy. Pensive Nexus Studios and Cocktail Studio present a very unique show, a talk show called By the Book, where two readers come together and discuss in depth on one single book which they have read. So that you get the in-depth knowledge of that book by just listening to the conversations between two readers. So today we have Arian Gag, who is a voracious reader and he reads a lot. And if you have watched previous episodes of this show, you must have seen that both the people who are on the show are holding a book in their hands. But today, for a change, Arian doesn't have a book in his hands. Why? Because Arian is a different kind of reader. Arian, tell me, how do you read?
So basically, my reading is more linked to the audio aspect of it.
Why?
Rather than, well, because I am visually impaired, or rather, I'm someone who has visual challenges.
Are you since birth?
No, it's a little recent. So it's like basically I had low vision from birth. I'm an ROP patient, so I had low vision, and it's like in my 8th standard that my vision deteriorated to the current state where I only have light perception. So I have had an experience of reading a regular book, most other individuals, but now in this phase I am having a different experience and a different perspective when it comes to reading. So it's a different exploration, I feel, and it's more audio based where I listen using my ears. But reading as a process is something that I don't feel requires eyes. It is a process of the mind. So yeah, that is how I read. I read by audio and like audio books and a software that I use called screen readers, which also acts much like audiobooks. It's just like a narrator. E-reading softwares that you might be aware of. It's kind of like that. So yeah, my reading is audio based, and it's just that.
Technology is truly a boon.
Yeah,
for you.
it is. It is.
Wow. Thanks to people like Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
who have revolutionized the tech world.
Yeah.
So Arian, tell me, how many books you must have read or heard till now?
It's quite difficult to give an estimate actually. I mean,
Approximate.
I guess maybe somewhere around 250 to 300. I'm not sure, but
Wow.
I guess somewhere around that.
250 to 300 books read by a person who can't see. चुल्लू भर पानी में डूब जाओ और आप क्या कर रहे हो? I think it's a very big source of inspiration, Arian. I'm really glad you are a voracious reader. And hence we are friends, in fact, right?
Yes,
We met
in
because
fact,
of
reading is what
Booklet.
introduced us to each other.
So after a lot of conversations, we decided on the book to discuss on the show By the Book.
Yes.
And it's Buzan's Study Skills. Tony Buzan is one of my favorite authors, and he came into my life like when I was in 11th standard. And since then, I'm using all his techniques throughout my academics. I use these techniques during my CA exams, and I give 100% credit to this guy for memorizing, studying all those CA subjects. He mainly talks about mind maps, memory techniques, and speed reading. So Tony Buzan is a must-read author for all the students out there who are preparing for the exams. So let's discuss, Arian. Are you prepared?
Yes, I guess.
I'm sure you must have enjoyed this book.
Yeah.
I had recommended this book to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that memory is the most important part of studies?
Well, honestly, if you ask me, it is an important part, but it I feel is linked to various other aspects that are into play when it even comes to our understanding, our comprehension, our learning. Memory, when if you have to particularly talk about exams, well, exams are designed in a way that tap into memory, and therefore all these other aspects of comprehension, understanding, etc., they are expressed through the form of memory.
Correct.
So I mean, if you personally ask me, I personally don't think the memory is the most important thing. It is important, indeed.
Agreed.
But yeah, it is, if you have to consider from a perspective of exams and the goal for students, then memory is important.
Yeah,
like it is more than
also
important.
for romantic life. I have to remember the name of the girl in college whom I like.
Yeah.
Memory is important.
Yeah, I personally
So
haven't had that experience.
the author Tony, yeah, really? Tony Buzan is known as the father of memory techniques.
Yes.
He has won many world championships on memory, and I'm using his technique since my childhood. So let's jump into the memory part of the book. As we read in this book, it's for the viewers because he already knows the concept. Memory has two parts: storage and recall. And very few people know that people think that memory means storage, right? Storage is like in a computer, you save a file. So it's C drive slash folder ka naam slash file ka naam, right? This is how a particular piece of knowledge or information is stored in our memory. But there is another important part of memory, which is recall. Arian, tell me, has this happened with you ever? That you have revised a particular answer for the exam once, twice, thrice, सब याद था, पर ऐन मौके पे एग्जाम के दिन you went blank. हुआ है?
Yes. And it's especially those like key details. I don't know why, but it's mainly sometimes like you know the answer, you know the format, but there's like that one detail. You know कि वो important है, you know you should memorize it, but you still forget that one detail.
Correct. So I promise you, this will never happen with you again in future.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't promise. The author promises.
Author,
I'm just a
of course.
messenger. So as I said, recall is as important as storage. I'll just tell you what goes wrong when we are studying. So typically, when we try to study, for example, we are reading a particular question and the answer. You open the book, read the answer. Then comes the time for the first revision. We open the book, read the answer. Second revision, open the book, read the answer. Here's the problem. We are just focusing on the storage. Whereas on the examination day, in the examination hall, you are not going to have the book. आपके पास book नहीं है. आपने practice किया कुछ और exam के दिन चाहिए कुछ और. You need recall क्योंकि आपके पास book नहीं है. So you have not practiced. मराठी में हम बोलते हैं उसको रंगीत तालीम. Right? You are not simulating the scenario that's going to happen on the very examination day, which is recall and not storage. So we are just revising storage and not practicing the recall part. So what is recall? That when a computer retrieves a file, he knows the path, computer C drive slash folder ka naam slash file ka naam, that's retrieval. Got it? So what we have to do is we have to close the book during revision.
Yes.
Once you read it, try to memorize it, we have stored it, you close the book and try to recall the answer. हो सकता है 10 में से 8 पॉइंट्स याद आएंगे, 2 नहीं याद आएंगे. Go back to the book, find out those 2 points, again close the book and try to recall. ऐसे अगर आप एक बार, 2 बार, 3 बार करोगे, now you are simulating what's going to happen in the examination halls.
Like as you mentioned, like everyone has a lot of focus on storage. Even like I still have, I have had as well. Maybe like nowadays I think I have tried a little to understand that even the recall is equally important.
Correct.
Like as I now I myself have tried to explore, I've tried to understand, and like even in this book, when it was mentioned, I was like thinking back to the same thing, that yeah, I mean we should equally work on retrieval as much as we do on storage. Like shouldn't we? Yeah.
But the problem is that because we have the book during our practice days, it is very easy. It is very tempting to open the book and check the answer, but it's useless. It's not going to help you.
Right.
Now let's go back to the storage part. The 2 most important rules of memory. Okay, I'll just explain. Rule number 1. Arian, tell me, what did you eat 3 days ago in your lunch? Which sabji it was?
3 days ago. Okay, yeah.
Hardly 3 days. Nahi na?
Wow, I
Nahi
can't.
yaad, right?
No, yeah.
Do you know why? It's because of rule number 1 of memory. Something that happens on daily basis, which is routine, रोजमर्रा जिंदगी में हो रहा है, usual, we tend to forget.
Yes.
But something which is rare, occasional, once in a blue moon, you always remember. Yeah? Got it?
Yeah.
That picnic. Of course, we don't go on vacations every day. That's why it's called a vacation. Yeah? घर का खाना, we don't remember. पर शादी का खाना, yeah, मुझे याद है. Because वो गुलाब जामुन रोज नहीं मिलते. So this is rule number 1. Okay, something that happens on daily basis you forget. Something which is unusual, rare, you always remember. Got it? Rule number 2. Do you remember the answer for which you memorized last year? In which year you are studying right now?
I am like a TYBA student. So
You're a
third
BA.
year. Yeah.
And you're studying psychology?
Psychology, yes.
Okay, good. You're a final year
Final
psychology
year.
student.
Psychology, yes.
Do you remember an answer that you memorized for your second year? So that if I put you back to that examination, will you appear that exam with the same amount of confidence?
Honestly, it depends which answer.
So,
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll be able to bring about the exact same answer
Correct.
for sure.
Correct.
I mean, of course, I remember parts and all,
Correct.
but of course not the
but
same
you had
answer.
revised,
For sure.
you had put a lot of effort.
Exactly,
and
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, you have passed out. That's why you are in TY. But do you remember Three Idiots movie?
Yeah.
By the way, how do you watch movies?
Well, movies is also something that's thanks to technology. It is also a little audio based, and I mean, this is something interesting even for me as I explored. So, subtitles that are there to read what is going on the screen, to read the dialogues. Similarly, there's a technology where creators nowadays are focusing on audio subtitles. So they give a description. It is called, like, the exact term for it is audio description. So what they do is they give a kind of description of what is going on screen. Certain visual,
When there are no
non-verbal
dialogues,
actions.
okay.
Yeah,
Just
there's dialogues as well. They sync it with the audio subtitle. So, like, for example, if in this scene the protagonist, he suppose is walking, so the subtitle will describe. Okay, now he walks from X place to Y.
I think
Then he
I've
removes
seen
a
this
gun.
on Netflix. There is an option.
Yes, on
Okay, I never
Netflix.
tried
Yeah,
it.
Netflix it's actively working on presenting these audio descriptions, which is
Wow.
really
This
great.
is really a blessing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you, right? So you
Yeah.
enjoy.
I mean, I loved movies and I still love movies. I
Okay.
explore movies equally as enthusiastically as books, and yeah, it's nice. Stories.
Don't talk too
exactly.
much of.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, just kidding.
tangent, different tangent पे जा रहा था.
Okay. Okay. Nevertheless, so do you remember Three Idiots? Have you watched
Yes,
Three Idiots?
many times.
Do you remember the entire story? Yeah,
Almost.
3 friends, engineering college, virus, principal,
Yeah,
and a beautiful message of the flaws in the education system. सब याद आ गया?
exactly. Yes.
Why? My second rule comes here. Why is it that you remember the entire story of that movie, Three Idiots, which you must have watched, heard, and a tactile movie 5 years ago? Or no, I think वो उससे भी पुराना है.
हाँ, it's
8 साल.
pretty. Yeah.
लेकिन 1 साल पहले जो आंसर आपने बाहर किया वो याद नहीं है. Why? Do you know the reason?
Yeah.
The reason is Tony Buzan says that something that you see or imagine, not just see means not people like us who see the physical thing, but also what you see on your mental canvas through your imagination is more memorable than what you just listen or read.
Yes.
Right? So this is rule number 2. Something that you see, you always remember more. Something that you just listen or read, you tend to forget. And when I say seeing, doesn't mean only seeing the physical
sight.
things, but your imaginative seeing also.
Yes.
Aryan, I'm curious to know, how do you appear for exams,
Well, for
especially written exams?
Yes, yes. So for my exams, what I do is कि I don't use a writer. I used to, but like nowadays,
So what is a writer?
a writer is someone who like is a scribe or someone who writes
On your
instead
behalf.
on our behalf. Yeah. So like the system with writers is that we tell them the answer and they just have to write it down. We dictate it to them in a way. So what we want to be written. But many times the issues that happen is sometimes writers, they tend to add stuff from their own side, which can be harmful
Which
for.
is official
Yeah.
copying. Wow.
I mean, they think that
So
it
you
is
will hire
good,
a
but
smart writer so that दोनों के answers
no,
are-
actually, I try to write on my own only. I don't write. I type my answers. So
Oh,
I give my
typing is
exam
that-
on computer.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. So you must
So
be
I
having
have that
amazing speed.
autonomy.
How was he having a very good speed of typing?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like enough that I can complete my paper in time. So that's more than enough at this stage. But yeah, I'm building on it.
And then they take the printout for the
Yes, they
examiners
take the
to check.
printout and it's
Interesting.
like it's equivalent to the answer sheet. Instead of just handwritten, it's just typed.
But you are given the same amount of time which is given to other students who write.
No, I get a little extra time. It's part of like the government regulation. For any individual with any sort of disability, be it physical or visual, or any disability, even learning disabilities, like students get an extra time of around 20 minutes for each 1 hour.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Wow.
because many a times, especially when it comes to students with learning disabilities, they require certain like some time to understand. So this kind of actually gives an equal field for anyone with and without any sort of hindrance.
Okay.
So that is why like it's I mean yeah, that is how it kind of
So
goes.
most of your friends who are visually impaired
Hmm.
now use computers or they hire a writer
Well, sadly many depend on the writers.
because they can't
Yeah.
type or they don't want to type.
Both. I mean yeah, unfortunately both.
Good.
But yeah.
Or maybe you're too honest. That's why you are using a computer.
I just don't want to rely too much on others because I have had bad experiences as well. I mean, of course, I have had good
हाँ, अगर
writers,
राइटर का
but
हैंडराइटिंग खराब रहेगा तो तेरा प्रॉब्लम हो गया ना.
हाँ, yeah,
Unnecessarily you will
many
lose the
times,
marks.
yeah, teachers are many times considered, but still, I don't know, but there's a different feeling when you do things on your own.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
I
fun.
can tell you for sure, never hire me as a writer because I have worst handwriting in the world. Arian,
Hmm.
we have been friends since I think many years, more than 5 years. I know you, I know your family, your mother, and Booklet has played a vital role in your life, is what your
Yeah.
mom always says. So could you just elaborate this?
I think 5 years back when I was introduced to you, like thanks to my mother only, it was the time just before the lockdown, I think so, that I actually tried and start to understand what Booklet really is. I mean, initially I joined Booklet ke okay, this is like a good book app. I mean, I just like to read stories. This is a short version of books and हाँ इसमें से कुछ info like on the go stuff you can get something. But in lockdown, I mean, one aspect that you had introduced is the reading IQ. You had introduced lockdown only, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that was something that I personally found a little interesting. कि हाँ, this is something different. It was gamified. You had gamified.
Yeah, the more you
books.
read or listen to the
Yeah.
books, your IQ goes up.
Higher, yeah.
Not
so
the real IQ, the reading IQ.
reading IQ. Yeah. So that is something that excited me. Okay, let's explore more. And as and how I explored each booklet now, I don't know, but somehow I was also excited to learn the story behind Booklet. So that's how I like looked up your videos on YouTube and well, I'm not on social media, so YouTube is the only social media for me. But yeah, that is how I tried to understand. Then I listened to your TED Talks as well. That is when I was like, "Hey, wow, this guy is something different. This is like Booklet. My idea of Booklet changed after listening to those videos and TED Talks. And the more I tried to explore the Booklet, the more I tried to explore myself also, like different aspects that I realized that I like. I personally am more into reading fiction. I mean, before Booklet, if you would ask me, "Okay, will you ever read a non-fiction book?" My answer would have been no. Apart from like academic stuff, I don't think so. I prefer to
Wow.
read. But I started to ask, "Ha, non-fiction is also pretty cool." So I explored that.
You made my day, Arian. And I can declare mission accomplished. That if I
I'm
can
glad.
convert a fiction lover into a reader of self-help non-fiction
Yeah.
books, then I think
And Booklet is
Wow.
good in screening as well, which book I want to read. And in fact, what excited me more was that it tapped into my subject of interest as well, psychology. So like apart from just basic self-help books, productivity, all those books that many people think of when it comes to non-fiction, there's actually more to that. There's a lot even for students of psychology, students of arts. Honestly, everything is there in Booklet. There was like a blend of things. So even in fiction, I started to see certain patterns. Even in non-fiction, I started to see stories and those kind of patterns. So it was pretty interesting. And I mean, I personally started to understand reading better.
Wow.
Rather than books, I understood reading better.
Yes.
And that, honestly, that changed me. Like, not just aspects, but that
I
changed
think
me.
it's a big message to all of you guys. Like, see, there is a concept in psychotherapy called adversarial growth.
Yes.
Because you are going through some adversity, you found a way to find a solution. Whereas people like us who have all the God gifts readily available for free, so मस्ती आती है हम लोगों को, right? So salute to you that you made the
Hey.
most from that stupid app,
No.
But trust me, yeah, I mean, this is the success of a social startup, social enterprise, right?
Reading is something that is not a task, I feel. Maybe it sounds okay, these guys are crazy, but no, it does. And that idea also can take you a long way. But I guess that has also become a part of me in a way, that like what I read, what I understand, what I explore, to some extent I'm not trying to be that. I just have evolved. And like as you say, if I'm not reading, I'm not changing. If I'm not changing, I'm not growing. And I personally see that change. I personally see that growth in me. And honestly, thanks to you, I have changed.
Wow.
So I'm really
बस हो गया, अभी रुला दोगे क्या? Good. Since you spoke about stories, non-fiction books also have stories. Atomic
Yes.
Habits is a very good example of it.
Yeah.
There are many teachers. I wish I had such teachers in my school days who know the power of stories.
Yeah, so
It's all
true.
about stories. Our brain is made for stories, not those boring Excel sheets and PowerPoint pointers, right? For example, I have a teacher, I met a teacher in Dombivli. He's a science teacher, and he was explaining some concept in a subject. So, अभी fermentation is boring concept, right? Fermentation, good bacteria break down the molecules. So blah 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 ऐसा कुछ बोले तो कितना boring
I'm an
लगेगा.
art student.
अच्छा, तो fermentation तो पता होगा ना मतलब.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, I guess.
So see how he taught this boring concept to the students. I'll speak in Marathi for a change because he tells the story in Marathi. He's a Maharashtrian.
Okay.
तू आज आईला म्हटलंस की आई मला आज पोहे बनवून दे. आई म्हणते पटकन हो देते ना 15 मिनिटं थांब, राईट. नंतर तू 4 दिवसांनी म्हणतं आई मला इडली दे ना. आई म्हणते आज नाही उद्या. वाय? बिकॉज अँड देन द फर्मेंटेशन explanation comes. So when we weave such boring things into a stupid story, it becomes more memorable.
Yeah, so true.
We are made for stories.
So true.
Another very interesting example. So he was teaching engineering students, electrical engineering. There are two types of switches. ऐसा कुछ सिखा रहा था वो, है ना. एक स्विच रहता है जो दबाएंगे तो ऑफ, दबाएंगे तो ऑन, राइट. दूसरा होता है जो दबा के रखना पड़ता है, लाइक बेल, और छोड़ेंगे तो ऑफ. There is no on off. There is only one situation where you keep pressing, long press, which is a bell, और छोड़ेंगे तो off. You get the difference?
Yes.
Very boring. No story.
Yeah.
Now
Technically no.
see how that teacher is so passionate to make the students understand this concept. वो बोलता है एक बंगला था, हाँ, उसके अंदर में गया और पूरा अंधेरा, सब कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा. बाकी सब मोहल्ले में पूरा लाइट से, इसी बंगले में अंधेरा. क्या हुआ, सब लोग को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. एवरीबडी इज स्कैर्ड. अभी अंधेरा, रात को 12 बजने को आया. एंड देन ही कॉल्स द इलेक्ट्रिशियन कि भैया क्या हुआ, इधर कोई लाइट ही नहीं जल रही है. और फिर उसको उसकी गलती समझ में आती है कि जो बेल वाला जो बटन है, जो लॉन्ग प्रेस, वो सब जगह पे लगा के रखता है. even for the tube lights, even for the lamps.
अच्छा
तो वो छोड़ने के बाद वो ऑफ होता
ऑफ होता है हाँ
And then the students understood difference between the two switches.
नाइस
See, simple. You don't need any rocket science or you don't have to be Karan Johar to come
हाँ
out with such stories. Well, tell me your genuine difficulties. See, people like us can't even in our wildest dreams understand your problems or empathize with you to find out what are your real ground problems in studying or how do you travel. I'm sure, can you travel all alone?
not currently.
No. Okay. So that's a big problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have the training when it comes to mobility, but considering like my personal practice with it and even environmental factors which make like the training that I have a little unsuitable. Mobility is something, yeah, that is a problem. Personally, for me, it's a little more because my, like as I'd mentioned, my vision deterioration, my eyesight deterioration, sorry, it's a little recent. So that aspect is a little new for me as well to explore mobility in its complete sense. But yeah, when it comes to um, anything that is more technology based, I feel on computers or so, I think thanks to advancing technology, AI, and everything, those aspects are becoming more and more accessible for individuals
Do
like
you use
us.
ChatGPT?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I do more than sometimes nowadays.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good point. But do you at times get frustrated or irritated when you recollect your older version of the world, when
Mhm.
you're able to see the world? कभी कभार ऐसा होता है अंदर you feel demotivated?
Honestly, not much.
Wow.
Because like the thing is ki, like my condition, it's I like say this currently the recovery stage only. Like
Oh,
doctors have also said ki it will take time. It's like almost like
I
an
mean,
indefinite
there is
time,
a
but
hope of getting
of course
vision
there
back.
is. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Super. That's a great news.
So yeah, and I honestly don't. I have no regrets for the ways things have been. Like whatever experiences I've had, they have been pleasant. Whatever I have right now, that is also new learning for me, I feel. So yeah, like sometimes I wish ki, हाँ, I could play those video games that I used to play a lot back then, or things like that. But I'm fine. I feel the thing that is most important when it comes to honestly anything is that you should just learn to be okay. It's and sometimes it's even okay to not be okay, I feel.
I
So yeah,
think
just
let's
accepting what it
try to
is.
find a silver line to this.
Hmm.
Does it help you to focus more because there are less number of distractions for you in comparison to me?
In certain
Say
aspects,
for example,
definitely.
अभी मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ हाँ,
Hmm.
और राइट साइड से कोई गुजर गया तो I immediately get distracted कौन है उधर,
Yeah.
right? So that doesn't happen with you, right?
Well, sometimes it does because, of course, my distraction is more auditorily based.
हाँ.
But I feel that, yeah, it has helped me to focus as well a lot. I've tried, and something that I personally have realized is that I have tried to go a little inward as well in this entire process, in this entire journey, if I can use that word. And yeah, particularly coming back to your point, in some aspects, the distractions have reduced for sure. Some aspects have become a little more alert. It's not like that I tried to be, but it's something that's more natural. So yeah, I mean, like there's of course a plus and minus to everything. And
Nice.
coming back to the same thing, it's always important to just be okay with it. That can take you a long way.
Okay. Let's get back to the memory part. Again, numbers are abstract. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have, concrete. They're not concrete nouns where you can touch, see, or feel. They're not tactile. So how to remember numbers? Like Panipat ki ladai, I think 1526 was the first war battle on Panipat soil. So let's now do that exercise of remembering numbers.
Sure.
All right. For example, I want you to remember my WhatsApp number. So for that, we have to convert those boring, abstract numbers into concrete figures of images. Again, because our visual memory is very strong. So I used rhymes. The author has used another technique. I found rhymes much easier for me, and I used this in my CA exams for my law subject. Remember the section numbers.
Okay.
The Partnership Act 1932, ये section, अभी section 370, जो अभी drop किया सरकार ने. How to remember these numbers? So with the help of rhyme, हम वो 1 to 10 numbers याद करेंगे, and then how to use that technique. So 1
Sure.
sun, 2 shoe, 3 tree, 4 door, 5 dive, 6 Vicks जो हम सर्दी में लगाए, 7 heaven, 8 gate, 9 wine, 0 hero.
Okay.
Let's repeat quickly.
Sure.
1 sun, 2 shoe, 3
Three.
tree, 4
4 door.
5
5
dive. कुछ भी ले सकते हो, मैंने ये
हाँ, yeah, no.
6 Vicks, 7 heaven, 8 gate, 9 wine, जो मैं नहीं पीता, 0 hero. Got it?
Okay.
Now, let's take my number. Don't try to by heart, okay? It's
Okay.
9594 7000 77. 9594 7000 77. समझो कि ये एक लड़की का नंबर है, तुमको उस पे दिल आ गया है, and you're desperate to remember this number. Unfortunately, it's my number. So, very unromantic situation. So, 9 represents wine. And whose number is this? Amrut's number. So, you have to connect the word wine with Amrut because it's Amrut's number.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
तो ऐसा हमको अभी crazy story बनाना है. Crazy, illogical, out of the world, larger than life story.
Okay.
So 9 wine. 9 5 dive. For example, अमृत वाइन पीता है, इतना पीता है कि वो टल्ली हो जाता है in imagination, and then he dives into a deep valley. 9 5. वापस 9 आ गया.
9.
तो नीचे बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे वाइन के ग्लासेस है, इसलिए मैंने वो डाइव किया. अगेन 9 वाइन. 9 5 9 4. 4 मतलब डोर. वहां से एक बड़ा डोर आता है, उसमें से एक अंदर से हाथ आता है जो मुझे हेवन लेके जाता है. डोर के बाद 7 हेवन. 9 5 9 4 7. फिर आता है 000.
Okay.
0 इज हीरो.
Yeah.
मैं हेवन में जाता हूँ, स्वर्ग में जाता हूँ, मुझे वहां पे 3 हीरो दिखते हैं, सलमान खान, शाहरुख खान, आमिर खान.
Right.
3 हीरो. अभी वापस 7 7 आ रहा है. Now again I will not bring heaven because it will be confusing.
Right.
Let's find some another rhyming word for 7.
Okay.
Shaven. Shaven मतलब दाढ़ी किया हुआ. Shaven.
अच्छा, okay. Like that.
Sound सा थोड़ा cheat करने का.
हाँ.
Okay. Now out of these 3 heroes, Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan are shaven. Amir Khan is not shaven. So shaven.
7. Okay.
7. कुछ भी कर. See, there is no logic into this.
Yeah.
The object is to remember, come what may.
Right.
Got it? Initially you might think कि कितना tedious है, टाइम जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं है. So practice becomes very fast. I've been doing for last 20 years.
Nice.
Very interesting. I hope you will remember my number.
Yeah.
Through this technique. Very interesting, right?
It is. Yeah, it is.
And gives you the confidence. Okay. So I'll give you some homework. पानीपत लड़ाई, I think 1526 को आप ये exercise करके याद रखना है. And then I'll ask your mom next week. Okay.
Works.
All right. Now you tell me if you have any doubts from the book that you have read, any question.
Yeah, actually I had one. In fact, I was like,
Now suddenly I feel like I'm a teacher. Tell me.
well, my question is also a little about teaching only. So, there was this one concept about dispassionate teaching. I think, dispassionate teaching only, right?
Dispassionate teachers. Yeah.
Dispassionate teachers, yeah. That was something that was new for me as well when I explored the book.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to know a little more from you, like in your andaz, your style.
See, I don't have any complaint against teachers, but there are some dispassionate teachers out there in the world who just come to school, check mark करने के लिए salary लेने के लिए. They don't really care. They are not passionate about their teaching as a profession. वो बस बच्चों को समझ में आ रहा है, नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. You know, we all have different pace of learning. Some are fast learners, some are slow learners. Such teachers are not bothered about it. I'm sure some viewers will get pissed off by listening to this, but it's a fact. मेरे स्कूल में ऐसे कुछ टीचर्स थे, मुझे समझ में आया नहीं है, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. The best example I'll give you is a scene फ्रॉम थ्री इडियट्स, जहाँ पे एक शाहरुख का आमिर खान ऐसे बैठा है और टीचर कुछ सिखा रहा है और वो कुछ बोलता है कि मशीन का डेफिनेशन दो,
Yeah.
और आमिर खान बोलता है फैन एक मशीन है, और जिप जो पैंट का जिप है ऊपर नीचे करता है ये भी एक मशीन है, और टीचर बोलता है रे मेरे को असली डेफिनेशन दे, ये क्या बकवास है, राइट?
Yes.
और फिर कोई आंसर देता है, फिर आमिर खान को क्लासरूम से निकालते हैं। इट्स अ बेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ अ डिस्पैशनेट टीचर। मतलब वो बहुत फेमस मीम है, अरे
हाँ,
क्या
कहना क्या चाहते
कहना
हो?
क्या चाहते हो भाई? दैट एग्जैक्टली, आई थिंक दैट इज अ एप्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ dispassionate teacher.
अच्छा,
And
interesting.
so it's a humble request to all the teachers out there. Honestly, during my school days, not a single teacher told me that library में जाके book पढ़ना होता है. Trust
Okay.
me, I used to believe that library hide and seek खेलने की जगह है. हम वहाँ जाके
That's-
खेलते थे. हाँ. किसी ने नहीं बोला कि वो कपाट खोल के अवांतर वाचन, this phrase was alien to me.
Really?
It was only academic reading, means academic reading, and
हाँ.
I'm Amrut Deshmukh who is saying this.
हाँ, that's why I was.
हाँ, अगर भाई ने
surprised
अगर
कि-
मुझे नहीं सिखाया होता तो I wouldn't have read anything in my
हाँ.
life. So yes, it's a complaint. It's a very painful complaint. I'm sorry, but this is a fact. And so continuing to this topic, that passionate teachers. Now let's talk about the positive side. Passionate teachers know that doing is learning. It's a my favorite proverb or saying or quote by Benjamin Franklin. I just read out from this book, which is quoted here. Tell me and I'll forget. Teach me and I'll remember. Involve me and I will learn. Wow, so deep.
Yeah.
So what's
Wow.
doing and learning are not two different phases. See, if a girl wants to learn piano, वैसा बोलती है क्या? I'll first learn piano, then I'll play piano. और दोनों same है ना? It's all same. You don't know whether she's playing or learning. Are you getting my point? But unfortunately, education system में we are supposed to sit within the four walls of the classroom for 10-15 years and then apply in the real world. As if classroom is not real world. So you get me? मतलब trigonometry subject जो मेरे 7th grade में था, इतना boring था, मुझे कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आता था. मुझे लगता था trigonometry का मुझे dyslexia है. कुछ भी नहीं. And the teacher was very dispassionate. I wish वो टीचर मुझे क्लासरूम से निकाल के बाजू पे जो फ्लाईओवर ब्रिज का कंस्ट्रक्शन चल रहा था वहां पे लेके जाती और बोलते कि बेटा साइन कॉस थीटा के प्रिंसिपल्स यहाँ यूज होते हैं वरना वो ब्रिज गिर जाएगा. I would have loved to learn trigonometry more by doing stuff there. This is passionate teaching. So you get it?
Yeah.
Experiential learning. आजकल हो रहा है. This change is happening in very, but unfortunately only in rich schools. यहाँ पे 3 लाख 5 लाख फीस है. Of course, it's a different argument altogether, not part of the book. Arian, tell me what are the chances that you forget your own name in your lifetime? Almost zero?
Minus me, I think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I'll say 0 is a good number.
Okay. You know why?
Why?
Because that's the only word you have repeated maximum number of times ever than any other word in any language. Right?
Yeah, true.
And that brings us to the next topic of the book, which says repetition is the friend of memory.
Yeah.
एक पाठी वगैरे असं काहीही नसतं.
Yes.
And so he tells us when to repeat. So he has scientifically he has researched that when the new piece of information starts going out of our memory, and then itself if you try to revise it, it goes up again and gets restored in your memory.
Right.
So it's when you're learning for the first time, then you immediately revise after 10 minutes, then 24 hours, then 1 week, and then 1 month. Approximately, of course, it's not a hard and fast rule, but if you revise or repeat this new piece of knowledge 4 times in this fashion, 10 minutes, 24 hours, 1 week, and 1 month, then there is a high chance that this new piece of information will go into your long-term memory.
Yeah.
And it's highly unlikely that you will forget. Yeah.
Right.
And your name Arian is already there in your long-term
memory for a long time.
Yeah. Now you tell me, you have also read the book.
Yeah.
Anything you want to discuss, ask?
Actually I had one question. So, like I personally found it interesting when Tony Buzan talks about this distinction, his views, when he separates academic and non-academic reading. So I I just would like to know your views. What is your take in this?
I'll
Is
tell you.
different, but yeah.
I was
What
a
is your
very
take?
fortunate child that my elder brother has played a vital role in creating my character, building my character.
Right.
He had made a very strong rule at home that you will never use a guide at home. There used to be a guide. एक guide होता था
हाँ
जो
हाँ
ready-made answers मिलते थे,
हाँ
model answers. I was never allowed to buy that. Right?
Okay.
And while studying, क्या करना था? कोई chapter पढ़ा, you have to close the book and write the answer in your own desi broken vocabulary.
हाँ
Regardless of how much words you know, कुछ भी चलेगा, grammatical mistakes सब चलेगा. And this is where it helped me, and teachers rewarded with me abundant marks. You know why? Because my answers were very different from others. While other friends were just copy pasting the answers from the model guides, my answers happened to be different. See, we all have our own personal vocabulary.
Yeah.
For example, now we have a set here, and there is a cameraman here, and I might say this table is crowded. You might say this table is cluttered. See, the message is same, but the expression is different. That's my point.
Yeah.
So now Americans, we say, do you eat veg or non-veg? Right? But Americans say, are you a meat eater?
Meat eater, huh?
The answer is same, but expression is different. Right? So this is what. See, knowledge is not consumption. Knowledge is reproduction. Getting my point?
Yeah.
So when you are able to reproduce it in your own personal language, you have actually internalized that piece of knowledge. Unfortunately, in academic reading, when you are reading a physics book or chemistry book or accounts book, you're always reading unknowingly with some fear at the back of the mind that you are going to be tested on this information one day in the form of exams. Got it? और उससे सब वाट लग जाती. You stop enjoying the very process of gaining knowledge. You are now reading to prove that I know, or I have to appear for the exams, not for the sake of reading itself. It is सगळं माती म्हणजे
Oh.
Whereas in non-academic reading, अवांतर वाचन, there is no such fear. Yeah, जो समझा समझा, नहीं समझा तो हार में क्या फर्क पड़ता, right?
Yeah.
So this is the main difference. So unfortunately, our education system has this reward and punishment system,
Reinforcement.
which is unfortunate. But I think things are changing. Our government is coming out with a new format of education. I hope there will be a major change. In fact, nowadays there are no exams till 4th grade, I believe. So it's a big change.
Yeah.
And so for me, interestingly, there was no difference between academic and non-academic reading. Because I was made to believe that भाड़ में क्या marks? You just enjoy. And then exams became a medium of expression for me, which is the biggest source of happiness.
Yeah.
See, when your work becomes a medium of expression, there can't be anything better than that.
So
Booklet is a medium of expression for me. Buy the book. This episode, this show is a medium of expression for me, right? Because the books is my atma, it's my dharma. So this is what has helped me a lot. And thanks to my elder brother, I don't know from where he got this wisdom, because he was also too young to teach this to me. So I was surprised when I published my first book. So usually when authors write their first book, it's a flop. After writing 5, 6, 10 books, it's a hit. You take any renowned, J.K. Rowling, koi bhi lo.
Yeah.
Because they learn writing. I was surprised that I got awesome response for my very first book. Then I realized it was not my first book, it was my 100th book. Because I've been writing my own answers for all these years in my academics. Got it? I was not copy pasting. I think this is real knowledge.
Yeah.
Got it?
When you move beyond the basics of just doing the task and to living it, I guess.
Yes.
Ironically, my mother also says the same thing. Ki enjoy. Even exams, boarding stuff, you can enjoy. And I mean, now connecting it's so interesting. This I don't know why, but this difference between academic and non-academic reading, it still exists. Once you go beyond these boundaries, once you enjoy, once you understand, it's truly amazing.
And it's not fault of the student.
Yeah.
And it's a very good example given in the book. एक माँ है,
Yeah, I
अपने
remember.
बच्चे को बोलती है कि बेटा पहले होमवर्क करो फिर मैं तुमको कार्टून नेटवर्क दिखा दूंगी. जब वो ऐसा बोल रही है, she is indirectly teaching that child that look, studying is boring, Cartoon Network is exciting. She is thinking that she is motivating the child. Yes, she is motivating, but not to study, but to win the lalchi reward, that chocolate or that Cartoon Network. So we are ourselves teaching the kids that हाँ ये boring है और इसके लिए I am giving you this carrot, एक लालच दे रहा हूँ, chocolate and Cartoon Network. So the moment when your focus gets shifted on the result, you stop enjoying the process. Both can't happen at the same time. One new thing that I went beyond the book and tried to learn is we never talk about group studying. Studying, reading is always in isolation. Anything you do in isolation is boring. We are not made for doing things in isolation. I don't exercise all alone. I need friends. I don't read alone. I know friends के साथ पढ़ता हूँ. Meditation भी group में करता हूँ. Yoga भी group में करता हूँ. Because we are so social animals. So I think I envy these young kids who are students right now who are studying in the age of social media. मैं अगर student रहता ना आज, I would have used social media for studies. And I've used YouTube as my pen drive to store all my videos where I'm revising the concept, or I'll made a reel on Pythagoras theorem and share it.
Yeah.
फायदे देखो, it's free. No downside, no cost. फिर उसका रिप्लाई आएगा, कमेंट आएगा कि ये समझा नहीं है, उसको रिप्लाई दूंगा, उस चक्कर में मेरा रिवीजन हो जाएगा. I don't know why people just use it for consuming, not for their studies. See, it's a tool. हम सोशल मीडिया को ब्लेम नहीं कर सकते. Right? It's just a tool. Like एक चाकू है, एक सर्जन के हाथ में दो और एक डाकू के हाथ में. See, वस्तु वही है, एक जान बचाने के लिए यूज करता है और जान
लेने के लिए.
Same is with social media. In fact, we met because of social media.
True.
Right? Because of internet, yeah. I made use of social media to reach out to lakhs of people and make India read. Right? So I think it's a big humble request to all the current students that social media is not only for entertainment. This is the best example by the book. We are learning great things from the book along with entertainment. Yeah. And so मजा आ गया आज ये book discuss करने के लिए.
Thank you.
You are in direct competition with me because you are a handsome dude. And अभी बहुत comments आने वाले लड़कियों के, मेरे लिए नहीं, तुम्हारे लिए ज़्यादा आने वाले. I am feeling the inferiority complex. So thank you so much, Arian, for coming to the show by the book.
Thank you so much. It was super fun.
Yeah, मजा आ गया.
Yeah. I mean, in such a small time, we literally went to everything, na?
Yes. Yeah. And we can also ask the viewers to write all those 10 words in the comment section.
Oh yeah.
That will be the real victory of us. अगर 10 के 10 words आ गए, मतलब ये book भी जीत गया.
Mission accomplished.
So Arian, thank you so much for coming to the show by the book on just a single phone call. And we have a simple gift for you. And this is a small gift which has lots of chocolates in it, and nuts and dry fruits. Okay, for your healthy lifestyle.
Yeah,
happy reading as well as happy eating.
Happy eating. And I'll have to also focus on happy exercising after this.
Oh, really?
Wow, but thank you so much. This is nice. This is really good. Wow.
Hi guys, I'm Amrut Deshmukh. Pensive Nexus Studios and Cocktail Studio are presenting a very new and unique show called By the Book. The new YouTube channel's name is Cocktail Studio. So please like, share and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to get the content on time, please click on the bell icon. Thank you so much. Happy reading and bye-bye.